In this lesson, we're going to talk about DNS and wireless attacks. DNS, or Domain Name System, act like the phone book of the internet. It translates websites into IP addresses, so devices know where to connect. The internet wouldn't work without DNS. It's so critical, attackers often target it for redirection, stealth, or disruption. Here are different types of DNS attacks. Attackers use several tricks to exploit DNS. You have typo squatting. This is where you're registering domains that look similar to popular sites like amaz0n.com to trick users. And then you have your DDoS attack. This amplifies traffic by sending requests with the victim's IP address as the source to multiple legitimate servers. These servers then send their large response back to the victim, overwhelming the victim's network. It combines reflection using a third-party server and amplification, increasing traffic size to make the attack more powerful. Common protocols abused for DDoS include DNS, NTP, and Memcache. The next attack is DOS attack on DNS. This is taking down the actual DNS server using overwhelming traffic to make websites or cloud services unavailable. And then you have DNS hijacking. This is where you're changing DNS records to redirect users to the fake websites. Alright, now let's talk about DNS poisoning. On private networks, attackers often use DNS poisoning to redirect traffic without users knowing. You have your on-path DNS attacks. Remember that on-path? Man in the middle? If an attacker is on the same network, they can use ARP poisoning to send fake DNS replies. They may also set up a rogue DHCP server to give out their own DNS resolver, controlling where users connect. And then you have your client cache poisoning. Before DNS, computers used a host file to map names to IP. It still exists today. Attackers with admin access can modify it to redirect traffic. Suspicious host entries indicate compromise. And then you have your server cache poisoning. Attackers trick DNS servers into storing false IP mappings by sending spoofed responses. They may exploit recursive queries to insert fake records for unrelated domains, spreading the attack to many users. In case you're wondering what a recursive query means, when a DNS client, like your computer, sends a recursive query to a DNS server, it's basically saying, "Hey DNS server, I don't care how you do it, but please find me the final IP address for this website and get back to me with an answer." If the server does not have the answer, instead of just pointing your computer to another DNS, which would be an iterative query, the DNS server takes responsibility to contact other servers as needed until it finds the correct answer for you. And by the way, you can use NSLOOKUP or DIG to check DNS record and detect poisoning attempts. Alright, that's enough on DNS poisoning. Let's talk about DNS for command and control. DNS is often used as a covert channel for malware command and control, or to stealthily exfiltrate data out of networks without detection, because no one thinks to check the DNS traffic for malicious activity. DNS traffic is allowed by almost all network and security devices, making it less suspicious. Attackers can embed stolen data in DNS queries or responses, bypassing firewalls and proxies since DNS is rarely blocked or deeply inspected. Here are some indicators of a DNS attack. Are you seeing unusual spikes in DNS lookup failures? Are there connections to suspicious IP addresses or domains? Are the logs showing repeated or strange queries? Chances are you might have a problem. Alright, that's enough on DNS. Let's switch over to wireless attacks. Wireless networks are convenient, but often insecure, making them an easy entry point for attackers. Here's one: rogue access point and evil twins. Sometimes, users knowingly set up unauthorized Wi-Fi hotspots. Attackers, however, create evil twin access points that mimic real network to steal logins and data. Here's how the evil twin work. Attackers might use a similar SSID name to confuse users, and they can also overpower the real access point signal. And then they'll spoof both SSID and BSSID, the MAC address of the real access point. Once connected, attackers can launch on-path attack like DNS redirection to steal credentials. Another wireless attack is rogue access points. Physical inspection and Wi-Fi analyzers can find unauthorized access points. Wireless intrusion prevention system detect typo squatting SSID, duplicated MAC address, or unknown brands. Switch monitoring can reveal access points not connected to approved switch ports, flagging them as potential rogues. And then you have your wireless denial of service. Attackers can jam Wi-Fi signals or use disassociation attacks. These send spoofed management frames to disconnect devices repeatedly. This forces users off the legitimate network, sometimes onto an evil twin. And then you have your replay and key recovery attacks. This is where attackers can capture handshake data when devices connect to Wi-Fi. The SSID password is encrypted during the handshake. The attacker can then take the capture of their lab environment to try and crack the password offline. Disassociation attacks are often used first to force a reconnect, capturing fresh handshake data. Crack, K-R-A-C-K, attacks exploit vulnerabilities in WPA2 four-way handshake. This allowed decryption of traffic even on secure network. Always keep clients and access point patched to defend against these attacks. That's all for now. Here's a recap. We learned DNS include typo squatting, poisoning, hijacking, and DRDOS amplification. DNS poisoning redirect traffic by modifying host file or poisoning server cache. DNS can be used for covert C2 and data exfiltration. We learned about wireless attack, how it includes rogue IPs, evil twin, disassociation, and replay attack. And we learned switch monitoring, wireless intrusion prevention systems, and tools like NSLookup and DIG help detect these threats. See you in the next one.